and skid plate on my 2019 Jeep Wrangler JL Sport. They got shipped right on time, and here they are. I'll be unboxing them and seeing how they work out. And here we go. Okay, so there's no hardware in this box, so you either reuse some hardware that's on there or it's in my other box. But it's very heavy duty. Extremely well. Here's some hardware kit. There's some more hardware. And she looks perfect. No damage in shipping. That's a pretty heavy bumper. Okay, unboxing done. It is currently 8:03, so we can call this 8 o'clock. That we get started on the install. It's in the morning, obviously. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, I didn't really look up what these bolts are all going to be in size, but I'll figure it out and tell you as I go. First thing I have to do is take my stock bumper off, and to do that I'm going to need to take, there's two body panel clips there, and there's 8 under here, and there's also 2 small bolts for the air dam. And once I get those off, there's 8 bolts, 4 on each post for this bumper, and then it should just slide right off. So I'm gonna get to it. There's these 6, and then 1 by itself on each end. And they aren't too bad to get out. I don't know if you could see what I'm doing, but I just pried that up with my screwdriver, and then it's a little hard to look through the camera and do it, but if you can get underneath the second part, it'll fall right out. It's an 8mm. And there it is. So if you take these 2 bolts out here and remove this cross brace, and it'll make it a lot easier to get in there and get the inner nuts off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, that's 18mm. And I'm wishing that I can get my impact in here good. Needs a smaller extension. Man, those are on there. If you have trouble getting these off, if they're on too tight for you, if you have a 1/2-inch wrench, it'll give you some more leverage. I'm using a 3/8. Now that I have the inner 4 bolts off, I'm going to take the outer 2 off on each side. So I've removed the bolts on the passenger side, right in here, and there's a wiring clip here for your fog lights. You have to push this down and pull these apart. So let's see how that goes. Oh, it's a piece of cake. That bumper should just come right off. And there she is. So if you haven't seen it before, here are the brackets that your bumper mounts to. Alright, let's see what this sun is. Okay, that's what we got. Okay, to install the skid plate, there's a bracket here that goes here, and a bracket here that goes there. And so it looks like I'll be able to reuse the factory bolts. That's what I'm going to try to do anyways. There she goes, walking the dogs. And I am going to, try to also put the, see the picture online doesn't have the brace here. I don't know if any of these will get in the way, but I'll put it on there and see if it fits. Okay, it took me a minute to figure out, but you put these side bolts in, that'll hang it there. And then I was trying to get these brackets bolted in, and I couldn't get my hands in there. But there, those plates come off. This plate here comes off, and so you remove it. You may not want this in there if you've got the Rubicon with the electronic sway bar disconnects. I don't know if that's an access point for that or not, but I'm going to leave it. Looks like it's going to fit just fine. So I'm just going to tighten these up. Now we just have to put these back up. So it goes bolt, flat washer, lock washer, nut. Bolt, flat washer, lock washer, nut. That's installed. Looks really good. Now it's 9:12. So it took an hour to get the old bumper off and get the skid plate put on. So now on to removing the fog lights from the factory bumper. Oh, there's a wasp in there. Get out of here, wasp. Alright, so there's just one harness and it connects to both of them. So there's an 8mm bolt here, and yeah, it looks like this is all one piece. So I'm gonna have to take this whole thing off. Alright, so I'm gonna get to that. Okay, these little bolts are gonna be 7mm bolts. So retainer clip here for the wiring harness you'll need to remove. Once you get that off, you're going to have these Torx bolts. There's 3 of them on each side, it looks like, to take that off. So, and another retainer clip for this wiring there. So, I'm gonna get to that. It is a T20 that you'll need. Okay, once you get those off, you still got to get the wiring out, and it looks like it's just going to be these 4 bolts holding it on. Okay, my battery died while I was doing that, but I took those 4 bolts out, and then this wire just has some retaining clips, and you can take all of that and put it in the new bumper. So these fit right on the bracket that's mounted, and you can still adjust them from the back. This is the hardware for this. Since they're so much closer together, you're left with a lot of extra wire, so rather than cutting and splicing and shortening it, I just wrapped it around these braces. And now all you have to do is take a small Phillips screwdriver and put these in. Okay, so it's a little tricky to get the nut on the back side of these, but you can just get your fingers in there and do it. And I'm gonna get the other side and mount the bumper. Okay, got that all on. And this is gonna route over the top. And I may have to pull this pin here, this clip, to make it reach, but that shouldn't be a problem. And just reroute it to the inside. So there's 4 mounting holes on each side of this bracket. There's 3 bolts in here that come factory installed. Those are going to be threaded inside, and those are these 2 bolts, 1 for each side. So this must be some extra hardware for mounting fog lights up top, or if you were mounting a winch and you needed some lock washers, they just included some extra hardware. I also had a few extra for the fog lights, which is nice if you drop and lose one. It's not light. And that's it. Okay, now there's going to be the bolt that came with the kit. It goes right up in here. And the same thing on the other side. Once you get these 2 bolts installed, one on each side up on the top, you're going to use the nuts, flat washers, and lock washers to install the rest of the bumper. Okay, now once you get the inner bolts on, there's 4 inner bolts, do the outer 2 bolts on each side. There you go. And then do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now I took a half-an-hour break. Let's see if you can see it. 10:31. I took a half-an-hour break to charge the GoPro. Haven't cleaned up yet, but it took me almost exactly 2 hours, minus the break, to install this. And that is removing the old one, installing the skid plate and the bumper, and it just looks great. Fits really well, really nice clearance on it. Oh, I still have to put these on. That'll just take a second. Let me go ahead and do that right now. There you go. Complete install. Bumper, skid plate, and fog light wiring. 2 hours. Now I just got to get a winch and maybe some fog lights for the top brackets. I think there's brackets here, so if you want to mount fog lights up there, and there's this lower bracket for your winch. All right, thanks for watching and have fun working on your new Jeep.